gentlemen, and welcome to ORO MAKEDONSKO. ORO means dance. Makedonsko means Macedonian. Macedonian dance, the dance of life. My name is John Evans, and I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce my lovely co-host, the beautiful Helen Bosanowski.
Thank you, John. Dobro večer, dragi gosti, ladies and gentlemen. We thought we'd come to Ottawa, get dressed up, and come and celebrate a birthday.
Now, Helen, you were born in Canada. You speak Macedonian. Even your kids speak Macedonian. I was born here. I do not speak Macedonian. I have a Welsh name. Now, what does that mean?
Well, for one thing, it means you're a lot older than I am.
Thank you.
No, I wasn't being funny, John. Partly I was, but you'll recall that your family came among the first wave of immigrants who came to Canada at a time when Macedonian names were being anglicized for ease of administration at the border. Well, of course, they discontinued that practice, and many of us have authentic Macedonian names like Bosanowski.
Beautiful. Yes, Canada, it is another ethnic show, and we have the father of multiculturalism to thank, Wilfrid Laurier.
Mind you, the family compact wasn't too happy about it, but we're still here. And so here we are tonight in our own way to help celebrate Canada's 125th anniversary of Confederation. And tonight, before your very eyes, we're going to create a little magic. We will recreate 90 years of Macedonian Canadian history in the next 80 minutes.
In each one of us, there are two kinds of nationality. There is our outer landscape and our inner landscape. The outer landscape refers to those ways that we identify ourselves externally, in our villages, our new country, our flags, our songs, and political boundaries. A people can have many outer landscapes depending on the country one is in, or the political changes that take place.
The inner landscape refers to our values as a nationality, our heart, our blood, our morality, our character. Those qualities we take with us wherever we go, no matter what we do. We all have both outer and inner landscapes.
It is the inner landscape that we address tonight, that Macedonian character that has survived for centuries despite the changes in geography, social conditions, and politics. The inner landscape that grows with the knowledge and experience that we have depended on to develop community and family. It is the inner landscape that brings us here tonight, the character of the Canadian Macedonian community.
In the mountain villages where Greece, Bulgaria, Serbia, and Albania meet, a Balkan people struggled for their identity, the Macedonians. Christian peasants in a Muslim land for 600 years, heavily influenced by neighboring countries and Turkish domination. A hardy, resilient, and spiritual people, holding precious their identity in their hearts and in their villages. They are a living testimony to the strength of the human spirit.
Not since King Samuel's 40-year reign in the 10th century had they known the freedom of self-expression. The written language created by the brothers St. Cyril and Methody, their Eastern Orthodoxy administered by St. Clement of Ohrid, and their culture rich, Balkan, and distinctively Macedonian.
It was then that the arts flourished: poetry, dance, drama, music, and their precious religious fresco paintings predating and anticipating Michelangelo by 200 years, heralding the dawn of a new age in Europe, the Age of Enlightenment, the Renaissance.
But the promise of cultural leadership was to be unfulfilled for Macedonians. As their icons were painted over, Christianity forbidden growth and visibility, and since that time, Macedonia lay for centuries as the crossroads between East and West, nationhood and submission, enlightenment and cultural repression.
But the villages were the cultural stronghold for Macedonians, where stories and poetry and pride were passed down and cherished. However, with warring factions, civil strife, and poor economic conditions, life was hard.
Villages were pushed farther into the mountains. The men became sojourners, the Pichalbari, taking their trades to neighboring countries, often away for years, continually sending money back home. The women stayed to care for the children and safeguard their homes, the refuge of the Macedonian identity.
When Goce Delchev led the Ilinden uprising in 1903 against the Ottoman Empire with just a handful of villages, he awakened a spirit and pride lain dormant for all those centuries that shook the Balkans and created a Macedonian awareness all over the world. The partisans were defeated, and the Macedonian question remains, but Macedonians would now clearly express what it means to be Macedonian and struggle for their birthright.
They had heard of a place called Toronto in Upper America, where a 15-hour workday paid 50 cents, and a man could speak his own language. The first wave of immigrants was largely made up of survivors of that uprising, now politically undesirable in their homeland.
The journey was a one-month adventure. One route, by horseback to what was then Solun, by train to Paris, by boat to Scotland, the ocean voyage. Through immigration at Halifax, the first sight of Canada, the first traumatic shock to identity, the change of name.
Finally, the train to Toronto, Upper America, and a room with 10 other Macedonians in a boarding house on Niagara Street. 1903 in Toronto, a dynamic New World city bursting with industry and commerce, shaping an identity of its own.
They lived where the work was and took the work that was there. After all, they were not here to stay, and a little hardship here meant a better life back at home when they could go back.
They did not know that they would be the heroes we now speak of. The heroes that shaped a destiny of freedom and prosperity that would rival any other nationality in the world to become the largest Macedonian settlement outside of the Balkans.
As political conditions grew worse in the Balkans, the community grew more committed to their stay in Toronto. They developed their own societies, and their neighborhoods developed a distinctive character.
A Macedonian house grew Zdravac, a wild geranium, a symbol of Macedonianism found emblazoned on the tomb of Philip of Macedon, the father of Alexander. This house was meticulously clean, very quiet, as families brought with them their fear of old country persecution.
They gathered in the courtyards and the boarding houses, and a man would travel 150 miles to attend a Macedonian dance, and ORO.
Established Torontonians began to notice the Macedonian presence and became friends. They created their first permanent place of worship and culture, the little church on Trinity Street, St. Cyril and Methody, founded in 1910.
The collection box would move from house to house as the $2 donations, sometimes a week's wages, grew to $5,000, enough for the first permanent home of Canadian Macedonianism.
Now, of course, we have telemarketing. These were very turbulent and exciting times for Canadian Macedonians, accepting more responsibility with their newfound freedom in a place called Toronto in Upper America. All this from a handful of men, the Pechalberi, who gathered at the Balkan Cafe.
And you can teach Yada cleaning English.
No, don't teach him more English. It will make him a Catholic. That gives him trouble.
This is not like in the old country.
No, this is a democracy.
Yes, where the women are the
bosses.
Shh! Teshmenanas, her husband is gone. She must take his place, or there is no place for Macedonians. For us clean, or we have to ask you to leave.
Boris!
Boris. What is this word?
Census.
What does it mean?
I don't know what does it mean. I just cleaned here.
I'm gonna get you for this.
Tommy, you're supposed to get to work. You're not ready.
I'm not going.
You're not going. Tommy.
I'm not going. I want to quit.
Quit?
Why, Tommy? You know what this means.
I can't go. I hate it there. Just look at my hands from the salt and the animal skins. They are red like raw meat. It hurts to play. For 12 hours a day, I pull the guts from the cattle in that hole. I can't breathe in the stink. There's no air. There are no windows. I go to work in the dark and I come back in the dark. I work with the rats. And for what? For 50 cents a day. Better in the old country. At least there I can be poor with my family.
Then go back.
But there's no money, Lena.
Talk, Mutaka.
Tommy, you know I went here for the money to send back home. We can live on nothing. We can take the work which nobody else will do because we know it will end. 2-3 years, we're back home again. How much money did you send back home this month?
$5.
You know what your family can buy in the village for $5? 2 goats. To make cheese, see there? $5. Oh, there's going to be trouble in the village.
Why, how much did you say?
Gently.
And you know how those Macedonian Jelevsky women can scream.
What about these Jelevsky women?
Oh, they should not have done so.
Come
How
on,
long have you been here?
Since Ilinden.
You were here during Ilinden.
No. After Ilinden.
What was the uprising like?
That was crazy. It's glorious. And tragic.
Crazy. Glorious. What's that?
What do you mean, Tommy?
Crazy? Because we didn't have a chance. Glorious. Because we stood up, no matter what the cost. And tragic. For a handful of Macedonian villages to rise up against the Ottoman Empire. Nobody believed we would even fire a bullet. But when Goce Delta spoke to us, our hearts and our spirits collide. He made us see the beauty, glory, and even the possibility of our people united in self-government. We organized our underground. Our women, our children, the old, our daggers, our rifles, all ready to attack at dawn. And suddenly, a single bullet from out of the black, a direct hit at the chest of Goce Delta. Then it rained bullets. And I was afraid. It was all over.
So where is the glorious?
In respect. We have more respect. We are not sheep. We are Macedonians. Not Greek Macedonian Greeks. Not Macedonian Bulgars.
No Macedonian, sir!
Not Macedonian Turks. But Macedonians.
All right!
And perhaps there Freedom.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Customers. Yes, can I help you?
Yes, good day. This is the...
Would you like some coffee? Strong?
This is the Balkan Cafe.
Yes, sir.
And the owner.
Yes.
Yes, well, where is the owner?
Here.
Well, I see. Is there a husband?
Yes, spear.
I beg your pardon.
Spear, sir, spear.
She means, sir, permanently. Sleep.
Oh, terribly sorry.
Give him the letter. Please, there is the letter. Oh, sir, maybe you could read this for us, please?
Yes. Yes, it's from the City of Toronto Health Department. It states that you have apparently 12 mattresses and 14 suitcases in 3 rooms. Unless you reply within 3 weeks, we will send a representative here to investigate on September the 31st.
Speak of this today.
September the 31st.
And who are you?
Mr. Williams, the health inspector, and whom, may I ask, are you?
Oh, Mrs. Stepanovska.
Mrs. Stepanov.
Mrs. Stepanovska.
Yes, and how many people live upstairs?
6.
It's with 12 mattresses.
Ghosty.
Yes.
Yes, and for these 6 or 14 people, you have only 1 bathroom. Now, this is a violation of our sanitary regulations.
Well, everything is great, Mr. Williams. Boris. What? Boris. What? See, there is something.
Sir, everything is green, sir.
You all live upstairs?
Yes.
What is that? Another mattress, that's 13. Excuse me, who are you?
Good morning, sir.
What?
Can you work for me?
I beg your
I got the water.
Do you know who you're talking to?
Somebody.
What? I beg your names, please. Give me your names. Write down. I beg your names. Dmitski, okay, which one? All right, Lena Stepanovich.
Sonia Blaganov.
All right, your passports, please. Let me see your passports. Your rambling papers. All right. Yes. What nationality are you?
Macedonian.
Yes. These papers are from Bulgaria. They're Turkish. They're Greek. Are these valid?
Well, Mr. Williams, sir, you see, the passport is from Bulgaria, different from the landing papers because at that time we were working there. Then we came to know in America, Ellis Island, and they can't send my name, they make it Canada. We know my grandfathers come here to Harry Slaughterhouse.
Me too, same story.
Yes.
I come from Macedonia where the Greeks are.
Yes.
But when the Turks are there, I serve yogurt.
Good.
You like yogurt?
I don't know.
When I come to Halifax, the name they give me in English is Phillips.
Yes.
Me too, sir.
No, yes, all right.
Same story. You like to hear me?
No,
it's all right. It's okay.
Maybe you would like a little rakia. You know, it's good for headache.
Well,
you're gonna love it. It's medicine from the guts.
perhaps just a little bit.
Yeah. That's good. To Macedonia.
Well, where is Macedonia, anyways?
It's north of Greece.
Southwest of Bulgaria.
It's south of Serbia.
It's in the middle of the Balkans.
Yes.
It's in your heart. It's in this restaurant. It's in this heart. And this is what it feels like.
What is that dance? I like that.
When we feel good, we ORO. And when we feel bad, we ORO. And sometimes we do it for no reason at all. I
like this.
There you go. You should see it in the villages.
Yes, I like
is but 1 day old, but he was not born yesterday. There once was a little boy, born on Niagara Street on July 30th, 1931. Across the backyard was the city outlet, stinking in the summer heat. Around the corner was the city incinerator, spewing smoke and garbage into the air. A mean little street, a narrow little house. Inside the house was a woman about to give birth. It was very hot at night. She fed the other children and chased them out of the house. Beg I did, beg I did. When her husband came home from work, she sent him off to get the midwife. She held on to the kitchen table, and just like she would do in the old country, she crouched down, and the little baby was born on the linoleum floor of Buberiche. When the midwife came, she took the kitchen knife from the table and cut the umbilical cord and tied it up. Dabieshivo, may it live for you. A Buberiche little flower. All children, boys and girls, have the same name when they're born, little bugs, because we don't know if they will survive. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Time to call the coon, the godfather, to give it a name. Господи помилуй, Господи помилуй. Alexander, so naked, so vulnerable, so dependent, with such a great future and such a magnificent past. Oh, don't cry, don't cry. Papa mi petit, sharani chorapi. Papa mi petit, sharani chorapi. My grandmother's knitting me beautiful socks. Someday he'll want to know who he is. What stories his grandfathers could tell him about who he is. What grandfathers? He has 29 grandfathers, each 80 years old, stretching back to the time of King Philip of Macedon. King Philip of Macedon, with his palace at Pella, with princes and princesses, and the sun was star at them. The royal emblem, with a flower in the middle like a zdravets, rising towards a magnificent empire. Philip, building tall ships out of tall trees, and his beautiful daughters, Salonika and Cleopatra. And who will tell him about his son, Alexander? And how the two of them fought the battle at Coronea that was a turning point in world history. Why is it a turning point? Because the Greek city-states had masters and slaves, and the Macedonians did not. And there they were, father and son, Philip on the right, Alexander on the left, at the age of 18, defeating the city-states and uniting together. How Philip was killed on the day of his daughter's wedding, and how Alexander took command and moved towards the east, learning as he went new languages, new customs, new traditions, and still speaking Macedonian to his troops, and applying new forms of government that is still with us today. And as he moved further and further east into India, his troops came to him and said, "We want to go back. We want to go home to Macedonia." And Alexander saying, "No! There's too much to learn, too much to see." He died. A king among kings. At the age of 32, on his way back home. His funeral procession went on for a whole year. A whole year! His funeral cortege, a vast temple on wheels, pulled throughout the whole of the Middle East. And how his empire was carved up among his four generals, carved into four which grandfather will tell them how the Romans, after 3 battles, defeated the Macedonians in 146 BC, and how the Macedonians fed them with their art, with their culture, with their knowledge of administration. The Macedonians had already had their empire. The Romans were just building theirs. Come over to Macedonia and help us. These words written by St. Paul in the New Testament, asking for help to set up one of the earliest Christian communities in Philippi, the city named after King Philip. Macedonia and Macedonians are mentioned 29 times in the Bible. Then which grandfather will tell them about King Constantine, the first Christian emperor, who was born in Nice, very near present-day Skopje. King Constantine, who established the city of Constantinople. And about the 2 Macedonian brothers, Saint Cyril and Saint Method, who invented the Cyrillic alphabet, the translation of the New Testament, to bring Christianity to Eastern Europe, on into the Ukraine, and on into Russia. And about their pupil, St. Clement, who established a university 1,000 years ago. And about the frescoes that were painted in the churches and the monasteries. A Macedonian humanist renaissance that predated the Renaissance of Italy in the Western world. What a light to shine through! And then, darkness. 500 years of darkness under the Ottoman Empire. His grandmothers and grandfathers can tell him how they survived for 500 years without books, without schools, without universities, without the chance to grow and develop, learning from each other the only way they could, from grandfather's knee to grandfather's knee, of colonel to colonel. 25 generations, preserving, surviving, and preserving our Macedonian heritage. Which grandfather will walk them through the hills of Crucible and tell them about 1903 in Ilinden, when the Macedonians rose with their Declaration of Independence, and how they were defeated and subjugated for another 10 years. 1912, 1918, the great powers, with the help of our good neighbors, tearing Macedonia apart. When our building has been baked over the fires of our own lives, they took it away to strange cities and they carved it up. Families destroyed, brothers set against brother, our language forbidden, and people fleeing, hiding again, hiding. But there's some unearthly spiritual force that breathes life into Macedonia, reminding us who we are. One people, one cloth, one order, wherever we are. The grandfather tell him how a part of Macedonia emerged as a federated state in 1945. With new schools, new books, new universities. Revitalizing the culture, rising from those dark burning ashes. And how the struggle for other native lands continued until 1945, 1948, when the great exodus occurred. 30,000 children, boys and girls, forced torn from their mothers, forced to flee for their lives, and hide in Poland, in Czechoslovakia, in Hungary, in Romania. 30,000 refugees, the Begalt Sea, dispossessed and disenfranchised, but now grown up and educated. And some of them are with us here tonight, having learned new customs, new traditions, new languages, like Alexander might have wished. And now 8 million Macedonians around the world telling our Macedonian story. In Macedonia, in Bulgaria, in Greece, in Switzerland, in France, in England, in Germany, in Denmark, in Argentina, in Australia, throughout the United States, and in Canada, in Toronto, and here tonight in Ottawa. And the little boy, he'll grow up. He'll learn. He'll learn to say, Nazdaki, your health, your strength. He'll learn to dance the Oro and the meaning of Oro. That in times of crisis and joy, we cross the troubled waters like a great chain through time and space. He'll learn to say, Dadi Miraka, give me your hand. Take my hand. Give, receive, share, join, zaendo, celebrate and live. And when people ask him who he is, he'll say, I'm a Canadian. And when they say, oh yes, where did your people come from? He'll say, from Macedonia. And if they say, where's Macedonia? He'll say, Macedonia's in here. Macedonia's in here. Macedonia's everywhere. And Macedonia's in southeastern Europe. Macedonia's a free and independent democratic state. We've asked him to tell you the story. He'll say, I was born on July 30th. 1931, on Niagara Street, Toronto. But you'll know where I live. By the zdravets that grows in front of my house. Milonetino, I told you about eating well and the Declaration of Independence. There was a marvelous man called Kutsadeljan, and he was born in the beautiful town of Kukush. And your grandfathers will watch you.
Bravo, Alex. I'd now like to introduce a very good friend of mine. She has 2 albums to her credit, is an award winner at the International Festival in Wales. The next 2 songs that you will hear will be on her next album. The first song, on the day of her wedding, the bride asks her mother to forgive her from this day. She will now live in another house and use the word mother for someone else's mother. She will sing Doke, dear Doke, don't pass through my yard and flirt with my son, Costadino. Of course, Costadino doesn't really mind. Ladies and gentlemen, Mary Midas. people of this city are imbued with the ideals of their Canadian citizenship.
Ralph Day, Mayor of Toronto, 1938. The Canadian Macedonian community had officially distinguished themselves as good citizens and good soldiers in World War I. The new parish hall opened in 1928 with the play Makedonska krvava svadba, Macedonian wedding in blood. The world was fighting its way through the Great Depression. The Balkans had once again been subdivided to the exclusion of a Macedonian nation. And Canadian Macedonians now numbered 25,000 in Toronto alone.
What was a commitment to survive in the old country was now becoming a commitment to succeed in a free country. But this transition was not easily achieved. If the struggle of the first generation was physical hardship and loneliness, the second generation would endure a more subtle and disturbing conflict, that of two loves, homeland and adopted home.
Do I change my name to get a job, or do I keep my name and keep looking for a job?
Do I send my money back to my village in Macedonia, or to my village association in Toronto?
Is the prejudice here worse than the repression we have back at home?
Am I Macedonian in Canada, or Canadian from Macedonia?
Do I put ham and eggs on the menu, or sausages and hot peppers?
However difficult conditions may be, in Canada at least there was a promise. The promise that hard work, unity, strength of character would lead to respect and a better life. Canadian Macedonians met those requirements.
When jobs were not available to foreigners, a man could shine shoes during the day, wash dishes on the night shift, graduate to short order cook, and eventually own his own restaurant.
It fit perfectly into their national character, calling for hard work, long hours, family commitment, and independence. But most important, to own his own business meant respect.
Respect among his people and for his people. Macedonians wanted, earned, and received respect in Canada. They would never let it go.
There were now one hall, two churches, and a strong camaraderie with Macedonian Americans. The conventioneers came from Toronto, Windsor, Hamilton, Detroit, Rochester, Fort Wayne, and Indianapolis. They would pack the hotels and fill the dance floors.
But there were some young people there who didn't know the Oros, who spoke little of the language. They were slightly awkward with their grandparents, and their first names were English.
The third generation. They would now face different problems and speak in their own way of their Canadian Macedonian experience.
We introduce you now to a case in point. A lovely young woman, about 24, has invited a young man to her apartment for dinner. Sounds healthy enough, but for one detail. This young lady has a mother, a Macedonian mother. The plot thickens.
Oh, Господи Боже! And what do you think you are doing? Inviting a man to dinner in your apartment? Look at that neckline. Is that why you wanted to move out? Is that why you broke your father's heart? To open a Yamakuka, a women's house. Look at that frozen meat pie. 24 years of your mother's cooking wasted. Wasted.
But not the guilt. Not the 24 years of guilt.
Don't open it. Blame it on your mother. Call him tomorrow and tell him that you got him where it's like, just don't open the door. But
I am not a tramp. I'm a normal young Canadian woman.
no, you're different.
I don't want to be different. Hello, John.
Hello, Lena. Where's your family? I thought we were going to have a big Macedonian dinner. I'm hungry.
Oh, I live alone.
Really? How'd you manage to convince your family to let you move out on your own?
Oh, they're very understanding.
So much Jesus on the cross.
Clever wine.
Sounds great, sure.
To him wine, and to your parents the vinegar.
To Macedonians, the warmest people in the world.
The warmest. You know what he means, don't you?
Sure got a great view.
Cover yourself.
John, will you excuse me for a moment?
Yeah, sure.
John, you have got to stop this.
Throw him out. It's not too late.
I'm not throwing him out. I'm 24 years old, and it's about time I had a boyfriend.
But say that word.
What word? Boyfriend? Boyfriend, 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 boyfriend. Don't worry, I'll make him use children I can bear and breastfeed. All I want is some simple and uncommitted companionship and work. And tonight I'm going to get it, so butt out.
Slut, 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 slut.
Smells great, Lena. What is it? Don't tell me it's that Macedonian stuffed zelly. No, it's the Macedonian stew, manja. I got it. Roasted hot peppers, luti piperki.
John, what is this with this Macedonian thing of yours anyway?
I just love everything Macedonian.
Have
you seen that movie, Blood Wedding, Curva Sparta?
No.
I'm surprised. I've seen it 10 times. My favorite scene is when the Turk is standing by the side of the village looking at the beautiful Macedonian woman, and he shouts out to her, "I need a woman so warm, so human, so un-Canadian." You know, I often think of myself standing by the edge of the village there, shouting out at that beautiful Macedonian woman in the hot midday sun, "I need a woman! Mi treba žena." God, it sounds better in Macedonian. Then through the haze, I see this buxom Salonican mountain maiden walking towards me through the golden fields, swaying her childbearing hips and singing, "Macedonia! Macedonia!"
Did it ever occur to you that were it not for some minor event, like a war or a famine, we might not be here in Canada today? Or indeed, if the world was flat, Columbus would have fallen off, and we'd still be in Europe. Going back to the old country, it's a fantasy we've all mused about and even romanticized a little bit. Let's travel now with Paul on his trip back to the old country.
Shoprashti, kakosi, sakamanja, mi seyadi. I'll tell you, you're going to see me transform into a real Macedonian as soon as this plane lands in the Skopje airport. Yeah, my hair's going to get thicker, especially in the front, and I'm going to start to sweat that Macedonian whiskey, rakia. Oh, look at that river. That's the Vardar. That's the same river that Philip, Aristotle, and Alexander the Great, they all swam in that river. Yeah.
Oh, why didn't you tell me?
Tell you what?
About your aunt.
Oh, honey, it's just for a couple of nights and then we'll be off to Okrid.
No, I'm not spending the first night of my honeymoon with your aunt and 16 cousins.
Honey, they will be insulted if we don't stay with them.
That's not my problem.
Could you just lower your voice, please?
My voice? What about all these Macedonians screaming like lunatics since we left Pearson?
They are not lunatics. They're just excited to be going back to Macedonia. They're not like you people.
Us people?
You know, when they're excited.
Oh, now all of a sudden I'm you people.
Yeah, well, they know how to show their feelings, how to express their emotions.
Well, if we're so dull, why did you marry a Macedonian?
Maybe I should have.
Maybe you should have.
Yeah, well, a Macedonian would have understood about my aunt's feelings about respect for the family.
I'll remember that.
Oh, honey, it's just that they haven't seen me in 20 years.
Fasten your seatbelt, Paul, for landing.
Great, we're landing. Bravo, we're landing!
Cut that out.
Come on, I'm just excited. We're all excited, okay? I'm going back to Macedonia, to my parents' birthplace, so don't spoil it.
Will you let them get off first? Look at them, they're acting like the plane's on fire.
Are you gonna act like this throughout the whole trip?
What? I can't express my feelings?
Can we go now, dear, please?
Yes.
Great. Could you at least come and visit my aunt with me?
Oh, of course I will, Paul. What do you think I am anyway?
Great. Listen, while we're visiting, I was wondering, would you mind calling me, Pavle?
Pavle?
Yeah, please.
Pavle. Roots, Part 5, the Macedonian saga. Pavle.
Michel.
Michel? Oh, welcome to Macedonia, cousin Michel. Well, where'd you get such a foxy chick, huh?
Foxy chick?
Oh, that's a Macedonian expression. Stop, man. How'd you get in here? We haven't even cleared customs yet.
Connections, Macedonian connections. Now tell me, which one is your bag, huh?
It's over there, but I'll go get it.
No, you stay here. Which color?
It's the red one.
Red one?
Yeah, that red one.
What the hell is he doing?
He's just excited. He's glad to see us. Is that wrong, too?
It's the one, Paul.
No, it's the other one over there.
He's going to demolish everyone else's
I
luggage.
told you he's happy. He's glad to see us, all right?
You don't like it? Go back to your own country, you damn foreigners.
You don't like foreigner stuff?
I like tourists, but those guys, they come and take our jobs from us. They take people in one room to save money. They always stick together. They listen to their own music. Eat in their own restaurants. What's worse, they want to steal our women, too.
There's the bag right over there. I'll go get it.
And you think what? We're racist.
Okay, now we'll move to that custom officer. That one over there.
That's the longest line.
Sure is the longest line you'll see.
The hell with this. I'm going to the short line.
No, stay here. He's not going to search your bag.
But we have nothing to hide.
Nothing to hide. I like her. Dimitri. He's a good Macedonian boy, and he owes me a great favor. Nothing to hide, huh?
What's going on?
He's just trying to be helpful. Stop it.
Steve,
You speak very good English.
television? We count. American television and tourist broads, you know what I mean, huh?
Yeah.
You have any cousins, Michelinche?
Michelle.
Yeah, her name is Michelle.
Michelle?
Yeah.
In Macedonian, Michelle is for man, for woman is Michelinche.
Well, I'm not Macedonian.
You married a Macedonian, so you must be a Macedonian.
No, Paul is the Macedonian, all right, but I'm Canadian, and my name is Michelle. Michelle Martin.
Martin? You changed your family name?
No, I am keeping mine.
Don't start.
What? I can say what I want. It's about time they learn that women have rights too, you know.
Look, you've been here for 10 minutes already. You're trying to change 1,000 years of history, all right?
Hey, buy their customs, huh? Thanks.
That was great. That.
How was it, huh? How was it?
Great, you didn't even look at our passport.
What did I tell you? Now you can give it to me.
But what?
The wireless transmitter, the Canadian club, and Pistoliver.
Pistoliver?
Stop that.
Steve, like Steve McQueen.
Look, I didn't bring you any guns.
No guns?
No.
Your mother didn't get my mother letter.
Well, she got the letter, but you see, I checked. It's very hard to buy guns in Canada.
What are you talking about? All my friends buy guns in Canada. Semi-automatic, automatic, and Canadian tire.
Look, I checked. It's illegal.
Illegal?
Against the law.
Against the law, huh?
Yeah.
You Canadians, against the law. Everybody follows it and nothing gets done.
Can I say something here?
Yeah, you speak. And you, Paul, you listen to her. I go get the car. No wonder you're losing your head, especially in the front.
Paul, we've been waiting here for 2 hours.
So hot in here. I can't believe it.
Why didn't you tell me about the gun?
And the pollution. I mean, you can almost chew the air. You know, maybe Stop had an accident. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he shot himself in the foot.
Maybe. I hope. What?
He pinched my thumb.
Come on, honey. It must have been an accident.
Accidental?
Sweetheart, that looks like the customs official. It must have been an accident.
Scotland?
Would you just lower your voice? This isn't Toronto. People know what those words mean here.
Well, in Toronto, you would have punched that guy.
There's a cab, all right? Can we just get in the taxi? Kind of welcome on, all right? Come on, move it. Taxi, could you please open the trunk?
It's open. It's open.
Relax.
I am relaxed. I am so relaxed and so happy I could levitate, all right? Oh, Crete, I want to go to an American hotel. There must be one somewhere here in the Balkans.
Paul, I want to see Macedonia, Skopje, Solun, your father's village, your aunt.
Haven't you seen enough?
Hey, I don't have all day, you know.
There are other taxis, buddy.
Will you calm down? Down,
Oh, don't be funny.
I'm not trying to be funny. Come on, not every Macedonian can be like Steve.
Stop that.
Just give the man your answer address and give it to him nicely in Macedonian.
Nicely in Macedonian? All right. Ulica Jane Sandacki, jas znam дека je 5 minuti od tuka da ne mi lažiš. Don't rip me off.
Like Zelnik?
Oh, I love Zelnik. My mother-in-law makes it all the time.
Here, you take.
Thank you.
Take the whole thing. Кой се лоси ви, Рачко?
My family is from Želevo.
Želevo, a?
Yeah.
Ела тука. Ела тука, бе?
What?
What's your father's name?
My father's name is Spiro.
Spiro?
Yes.
Of course, Spiro.
What do you mean, of course, Spiro?
Same love as the temple?
Hey, just a minute, buddy. Don't tell me that.
Never mind. You're coming to my house. We're gonna eat some hoche. When my mother makes hoche, it's like music to my ears. And then, we'll dance the Macedonian ORO. We'll even invite your Baba Petra.
My Baba Petra? Hey, what did I tell you? My people are terrific. Drive on, my friend. That bobche, can we put a little hot peppers on that?
Oh,
yeah. Oh, let's go.
The independent state of Macedonia is a triumph hard won by blood and sacrifice. For Macedonians throughout the world to now point at a map and be able to say, this is the place internationally known as Macedonia, where our people speak in Macedonian, worship in Macedonian, have Macedonian names and Macedonian laws, is a joy ineffable after 600 years. Macedonia today is proud of its world-class art, music, and theater. It is home to many top international artists, one of whom now resides here in Canada. Her beautiful voice has made her famous in Macedonia, and today she is one of our community's treasures. Her first song is Momchebre, a love song for an unrequited love. Her second song is Zajde, Zajde, the sunset. It speaks of old age, the lost leaves of a tree, lost youth. This is contemporary Macedonia. Ladies and gentlemen, Fana Shomova.
In the 1960s, multiculturalism became a fashionable word in Canada, and ethnicity became respectable.
Foreign-sounding names were in high places, and Canadian Macedonians were among them.
Educated in the new world, retaining the inner character of the old, the third generation is challenging the values of older generations, and at the same time is defined by them.
They ask questions of spirituality and heritage. Add to these the striking character of newly arrived Canadian Macedonians, also educated, also proud. These two forces create a fascinating and delicate balance as Macedonians in both countries, in many ways, have achieved what they set out to do.
Today, we have approximately 100,000 Canadians of Macedonian heritage, 5 churches, 65 cultural organizations, and the newly established Macedonian language at the University of Toronto.
In a mere 90 years, Macedonians have taken full advantage of the opportunities in Canada and are honored to be part of Canada's 125th birthday celebrations.
Perhaps the truest test of a community is not how it deals with hardship, but success. This is the challenge of future generations as they create their own heroes in the Canadian Macedonian experience.
All this from a handful of men, the Pechalbari, who gathered at the Balkan Cafe.
There are those who would dispute the existence of the Macedonian nationality and country. We welcome such debate. We have long sought opportunities to present ourselves, to let you get to know us, and thank you for coming to our homes tonight, this beautiful Canadian theatre, the National Arts Centre.
We also want to thank Leon Kosar and the staff at the National Arts Centre for making us feel so at home and feel that this theatre is the people's theatre.
We thank our wonderful cast and the Canadian Macedonian community for sponsoring in part this program, notably the Canadian Macedonian Place Historical Society, St. Clement of Oakland Macedonian Orthodox Church, St. Elia Macedonian Orthodox Church, the United Macedonians, the Canadian Macedonian Federation, and of course the Federal Government of Canada.
And along with these sponsoring organizations, I would like to thank on behalf of the cast and crew, our wonderful director and producer, Mr. John Evans. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to sing O Canada in 3 languages, English, French, and Macedonian, may we introduce Maria and Christina Belchevsky.